How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with yet another review. It's about to get malty up in this piece in the form of Ciel. It is their Rigor Mortis, but not any Rigor Mortis. It is the Porto, or Port Barrel Aged Rigor Mortis. This comes courtesy of my boy Jacob. Thank you very much, brother. He knows what I dig, and I am a big Ciel fan. I'm a big Belgian style or Belgian quad fan, and I love Port Barrel. So this thing is hitting all the notes. Does it deliver? Let's find out. Yeah, it is extra strong beer, 10.5% alcohol by volume. On the back here it says, Ale Brun Inspiration Trappiste un Presente un Course Intense de Malt. Yeah, that's the French portion. I'll go down to the American one. Aged in American port barrels. This intensely malty Trappist-inspired brown ale is round and sweet with notes of red fruit, balanced with a hint of acidity. This is almost 2 years old. This was bottled on January 9th, 2018. We are in November 2019, so we're getting towards the 2-year mark in this, which could be a good or bad thing. I think barrel-aged beers, if they're done well and they don't gush all over the place, really do, because it could still be done well, but it might be kind of sideways. We'll see what's what. But 2 years is kind of not just max, but I think it's one of the, I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule, but for me, barrel-aged beers, 2 years tends to be the kind of high watermark for a lot of these beers. Not necessarily that they apex and slowly go downhill, almost like they kind of apex and go downhill very quick around the 2-year mark. That's just personal experience. Your mileage may vary, but as far as this one goes, because she did gush all over the place, we're not off to a good start. But let's start with the label design. Ciel, one of my favorite labels in the history of beerdom. It has a very kind of illustrative, old school kind of art design. So it kind of makes sense because they do a lot of really like European, Belgian forward beers. And for some reason, it just kind of worked for me. And just the art design is absolutely fantastic. Kucheralize these again. I know they typically put the artist's name on here. Maybe they started removing that. I don't see it on here. I thought they used to. But anyway, love the label. Beer-wise, you know, when something gushes like that, you're usually not kind of too happy about it. It means there's either a super overcarbonation problem, which can happen with Belgian beers, but more often than not, you're talking about something a little nefarious going on, especially when you're talking about adding a barrel portion, an added component, a very kind of wild card component to a bottle-conditioned beer. We'll see what's what. I mean, she looks the part of a quad, maybe a little bit lighter. I mean, you expect more in a double range, if anything else. And the head doesn't look much like a quad, but with how much it gushed, it wasn't going to look like what it's supposed to. It doesn't have that creaminess. Maybe right around the like last 1/8 or 16th of it, it has that kind of tight, compact bubble, creamy fluffiness. But up top, it's very rocky. So it looks the part of something that is, kind of gushed on us a little bit. Let's get a nose. I mean, it's port all the way. It's giving me huge port wine vibes. There's a big red fruit tannic quality. It's not overly sweet, overly ripened. That's your kind of a combination of your Belgian fruits, I believe, combining that kind of port wine. There's a bit of not mustiness, but almost like a spiciness, like a cardamom, in combination with something else. I believe that's probably a barrel character from that port, so you're getting that oakiness, a little bit of spiciness from that Belgian yeast. There's a sweetness to it, but it's not overly sweet. Let's put it this way. Based off the nose, it doesn't smell like it's infected. But she smells really nice. Doesn't smell like the best quad I've ever had, or the best barrel-aged Belgian quad I've had, but it smells quite nice. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's nice, you know. Doesn't blow me away. It's more port barrel. Actually, let me rephrase that. Let me retract that, I should say. It's probably even parts quad, even part port. It's lost a lot of mouthfeel. Very watery. The carbonation has kind of gone over the top, and I believe it's kind of chewed away at the beer. Made it a little bit kind of thinner, more watery than it should be. That quad shows up, you're getting rich fruits outside of what the port is. Cherries, dates, figs, those kind of thing, with a nice bright kind of bready component to it. Even though it doesn't translate to the mouthfeel, you're getting it there in the taste, and you get that port portion to show. Probably the most upfront and impactful part, but once you actually take a sip and let it sit, you get all those other portions of the beer. So you get the port portion to show. Definitely being, I would say, the most impactful, maybe not the most, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is. They're both in the end equally as impactful, but the port is a bit more sharp, whereas the other flavors are a little bit more rounded. So it tends to, perceptionally, that port tends to come off mentally a little bit bigger. But since the beer is a little bit rounded, a little bit bigger, kind of, I don't know. It's a pound of feathers, pound of bricks kind of thing going on. And I like it. I like it even though it gushed on me, it yelled at me, it screamed at me. It's tasty. It's just, I know what Rigor Mortis tastes like. In a 2-year-old bottle of Rigor Mortis, I think would smoke this beer by itself. I don't think the barreling has brought anything to the table. Sure, there might be a little bit of something nefarious going on. It's kind of pulled back, drowned out a little bit of this beer. Overcarbonation. There's definitely some oxidation going on here, but you're talking a 2-year-old quad. You're expecting a little bit of oxidation to begin with. You add that barreling on there, you're going to add even more of that. But it does have what I consider a really nice base for what a Belgian quad should taste like, with that nice combination of what you'd expect from a port barrel. Just kind of missing, bringing it all together, having a nice cohesiveness to it, and that overcarbonation, and that thinness. I like my quads to have a bit of density to it, just lacks that, and it keeps it from going otherworldly. But for how it started, for how it gushed and what I expected it was going to be, didn't come close to that. Ends up being a pretty nice and tasty beer. Not gonna lie. Try to go into these without preconceived notions. I went into this one expecting a little bit more, so it has me a little bit bummed. Anyway, let's talk about it. It's one of the better barrel-aged Belgian-influenced darks. Quads, darks, doubles. It's still worthy of being in that conversation, but not nearly close to the top. Not that you get a lot of barrel-aged stuff, unless it's from the people that really do produce them constantly. Barrel of Monks down in Florida, traditional Belgian style like La Trappe, those kind of beers, or that do a lot of barrel aging. It's still worthy of being in conversation, just not towards the top. Value availability, I don't know what these cost. I mean, I would venture a guess, hopefully less than $10 a bottle, but who knows, and leave you with, if you like, we like this. If you like quads, if you like port barrels, and you know what the process is when it comes to not only barrel-aged beers, but barrel-aged Belgian beers, because when you buy something like this, if it does gush for you, and it still tastes like this, I don't think you're going to be all that upset. Because you're still getting a good experience out of the beer. Maybe not the best one you expected, but it's still not a bad thing. It's part and parcel with barrel aging in general, but more often than not barrel aging with live beer. It can happen, and it is what it is. But I'm still happy I got to try the experience, so thank you very much, Jacob. So there you go. Another real Dieu to Ciel. It's been a while since I've done one in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers, if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive, if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Let me know if you had this sucker and how it treated you. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Dieu to Ciel right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.